now a black woman has apologized for speaking her mind about a black man.
But we always apologize for that. We are always defending y'all, no matter what. And I think that's what nobody else is talking about either. She felt that her song took away from what the bigger issue was.
I scrolled through her timeline in these wild times and I started to read.
Welcome to Late Breakfast. I am Torian B.
And I'm First Class Reg.
Everybody, welcome to the show. We have our special guest in the building. We have Chrissy here, our first time guest. Thank you for coming.
Hello.
Hi, Chrissy.
Everyone. I feel outnumbered as a yeah.
It's okay. You got this. I heard you a fighter. It's so good. And we have...
I'm not a fighter.
Yes, you are.
How you doing, guys?
And we have this is dedication right here. My man, LA.
Sean, put your background on mute.
And he is voting as he is on this show. Wow. That is dedication right there.
I was like, what the hell is
Kind of on mute, but we let him know that, letting the crowd audience know that he's here. So we're gonna go right into the first topic. Last week, J. Cole dropped a new song, Snow on the Bluff. The song is called Snow on the Bluff, and in the song, within minutes, it was deciphered that he was addressing a Chicago rapper named NoName, where a couple weeks ago she called out rappers. She didn't say a name, but it just knew we knew what rapper she was referring to, saying that they were not out marching or using their voices to speak and protest on the problems that were at hand, that their voices were not heard and that their voices needed to be heard. And J. Cole in the Snow on the Bluff song came out and said, that he was humbly coming to her and saying, hey, I don't know these things. Could you teach me? I'm not as deep as you think I am. But there's a huge but. He said something that set the Twitterverse off, and that was watch your tone.
Watch your queen tone.
And when you tell a woman to watch her tone, there's two things you don't do with a woman. You don't tell her to watch her tone. No, three. You don't ask her age, and you do not mess with her hair. React.
You don't ever tell anybody to watch their tone, for being honest.
You said what?
I said you don't ever tell someone to watch their tone, to be honest.
And you specifically don't tell a black woman to watch her tone.
Yeah, you just don't say that to anybody.
I feel like you can tell a child that.
If you're another man and you're talking to me crazy, I'm going to tell you to watch your tone.
Danny, take that hat off. Show us your beautiful hair.
Word, you got a haircut, bro.
But
there we go.
There it is.
That luxurious. Look at all that volume.
But I was gonna say, as far as the J. Cole thing, funny enough, we were actually filming one of these when that song dropped.
Yes.
And after it dropped, I listened, and I mean it's typical J. Cole shit. But I'm very glad, and viewers know. I don't know. Back then, I said J. Cole's fans put him on his pedal and make him seem a lot smarter than his content puts out. So I'm glad he fessed up to that he's not this almighty smart-ass nigga that his fans think he is. And
I mean, even Wale alluded to that too when somebody said to him, yo, why it's outside, you not outside.
He deleted that. I don't know why, but
Wale has been alluding to that for a long time, even when J. Cole put out that song,
False Prophet,
and he was talking, and during interviews, Wale was just like, yo, J. Cole is not, he's more of an asshole than I am. I'm actually nicer to fans than he is. And everybody kind of dragged him for it because then he was like, yeah, I'm about to go meet Cole in North Carolina and play basketball. And everybody was like, if that's your boy, why are you even revealing this?
I was kind of whacking. But anyway, to my point, I listened to the song. At first, to be honest, I didn't get the big deal. And then when I listen to women, especially black women, especially that called it out, and forgive me, I can't remember who it was specifically, but they called it out to the point where it was just like, well, I've won. This isn't the right time for something like this for you to actually get on the platform and and step to a woman the way that you did. Like in these times, it was just very much like a read the room moment, and he didn't do that. And two, it just came off, well, that's fine, but it came off like he was attacking her for being smart. So it was like, you can't win in that. Like you dropped at the wrong time and your message wasn't clear.
I mean, I think the first time I listened to the song, I was like, oh, this is actually fire. I think Cole gets in his best pocket when he's offended by something. But then as I listened to it again, I started automatically tweeting like, yo, he's talking about NoName. And it was interesting because before I tweeted that, somebody was like, yo, Sad, J. Cole made a song about you. But we're not into that. But I think that J. Cole has notoriously been misogynistic in his music. I don't ever think that. I also think his fans put him on a pedestal. And I think that as a female hip hop fan, a lot of rappers are misogynistic, but now more towards the tone as like, I'm educating myself more and I'm trying to raise my son not to have that ideology. Because I feel like a lot of men in particular don't respect Black women, or they feel like because you guys are also oppressed, y'all take out your oppression on Black women because we're the only ones under the totem pole for you guys. And I don't think that many men are aware of that, right? So I feel like that's what's been happening, or like these gender wars that's taking place on Twitter, is like Black women, especially at the time we were mourning the death of Toyin, who died at the hands of a Black man while she was on the street fighting for Black men's lives, because that's what the conversation became about, because we on the mainstream level, we're not talking about Breonna Taylor and anybody else anymore. And then, so for us to be like, hey, yeah, y'all face racism and y'all die, we do too, but like y'all also harm us, but nobody was receiving that because the conversation turned about, oh, well, now y'all talking about books. Like that had nothing to do with anything, right. Which I also thought was a defunct or a deflection from the topic at
I guess for me, like I interpreted it the same way everyone else did, but I also interpreted that this is rap. So in rap, like, all right, I'm about to get in trouble. So in rap, there should be like it should be like equal pickings, right? Because let's say if a male rapper came out and said this about Cole, and then Cole came out and said the exact same rap, people would just be like, yo, Cole got at him, and Cole spoke his piece and like moved on, and then it would just be that if he said that to another male, right? But I kind of felt like because it was a woman, people kind of treated it like, oh, you can't say that to a woman, but it's rap.
Lil Pump called him a bitch, and he had a whole conversation with him.
He also rapped, and he also had a song, and in his song, he kind of responded to Lil Pump in the same way. But he knows,
right, but he sat down and had a conversation with him. He could have allowed her, especially since her tweet didn't have no names. There's a bunch of top-selling rappers that didn't say anything.
That came off.
He took the offense.
That came off. Yeah, he came off like he felt guilty, like he made it about him, and it was never necessarily directly about him. Whether she was talking about him or not, she never said his name. He got emotional, and he jumped out of his place at the moment. His best thing he could have done is, as from speaking to Black women, he should have taken a moment instead of telling her, educate me. It's no, shut up. You are being educated. Yeah. If you would have just not said something and just and read what was going on, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. And him reacting the way he did kind of further proved her point. I feel like about it. Like this is exactly what it is, that Black women don't feel listened to.
He took her bait, but in the wrong way. What he was supposed to do was just make action. He took it and got on a record. And not only did he discard everything that she said or disregard everything that she said, he addressed her for coming at him for doing what he was doing, which was nothing. And it was all ego.
Okay. And I think that I don't know if this was mentioned, I'm sorry, but I think it's numerous amount of times where as Black men, and I'm a victim of it as well, where we're like, yo, teach me, I don't know, queen, my father wasn't around. And we put a lot of responsibility on Black women to do jobs that they don't ask for at all. Okay. All the time. Like, it's the same way we tell white people about racism to do the research and do the due diligence and do the work to learn yourself that these are issues that people are facing. It's the same thing that J. Cole kind of told NoName, like, well, if I don't know, you tell me. And it's like, I don't have to tell you. You should know this already, or at least go find out. Or you could have really extended the olive branch and gave her a platform to speak about it and have a conversation. We have a conversation about everything else, but this decided that you had to bring this to wax and it wasn't necessary. Especially when I sat for an hour for you to speak to Lil Pump and no one gives a fuck what Lil Pump thinks.
Damn, Rob. Kill him, Rob.
We watch it go back to Torian's point of view. I like that
I'm a J. Cole
she
fan. Unfortunately, I watched it.
All right. Torian's point before, I like that she in turn really responded in the true MC way. And she put out within 24 hours also she responded and just put out her response. And her response made it to me, she killed him on that.
Yeah, so
well, in true black woman fashion, less is more.
Moving along with Chance being a Chicago native and being an advocator, and a big supporter of NoName, he also doubled down and said, like, yo, Cole, you're bugging, and came out and spoke his piece. If Cole was, I guess, to tell Chance, hey, watch your tone and do all of that, it's going to be just bars back and forth. Do you think anybody's going to come to Chance's defense and say,
I actually I agree. I like what Chance did. I mean, a lot of people don't like him. A lot of people just do like him. But I like what Chance did because he did stick up for a woman at that time. And a lot of times we don't see that. And that's what a lot of black women have been screaming for years and decades and centuries. So I like it. A lot of people see it as, oh, you're just pandering to her. Even if it was pandering to her, it's good to show that side of I got your back. And
it was still the right message.
You said what, Reg?
And it was still the right message.
Yeah, it's the right message. Now, would you say watch your tone? J. Cole, I think J. Cole would say that because J. Cole always responds to people like that. He is the person that's kind. From what I see, he's the person that's kind-hearted and he's always forgiving. And I think that's a problem with him being that he can forgive Kodak Black. He can reach out to Kodak Black, X Tentacion, and all these other dudes who did and who have cases, and I think he was definitely wrong for that.
You're crucifying J. Cole. I'm with that. I can get on that bandwagon.
I mean, yeah, the music is cool to me, but you're showing us a weird side of yourself. I see where you're going for the path of forgiveness, but
yeah, your morals aren't adding up, bro.
Yeah, it's not like the words that you speak to underneath a beat don't match how you walk the beat.
But he's also been rapping about women in that way. He either objectifies them or tries to school them. Like, what is that song? No Role Models or whatever? Like, he has no place to be policing women. He does this historically through his music.
And it's not an excuse, and it's probably just like his surroundings or his upbringing, and it's probably like, unfortunately, he's probably not around a lot of women that have voices and probably that do put him in his place. And he's probably around a lot of women that he is smarter than, unfortunately. So I think that he needs to change that. And hopefully going forward, like, he'll do better with that. Because I think that's what it kind of screamed out. It screamed out that he's not used to being called out by women. Because like y'all all said, there were other examples when he was called out for lesser things. Like people were he was one of the niggas that called him sleepy. So I think it's a bigger challenge for him, and he obviously felt the way that a woman challenged him. And that's why he reacted.
Maybe it's not realizing that it's specifically, when speaking to a black woman, also because he's raised by a white mother. So he may not have had that side around him to explain to him, no, black women are usually, like she said, on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to situations. And they're usually the least listened to. So he may not have had that experience, a black woman tell him that growing up. That look, this is more.
I don't think it mattered that she was a black woman. I think it mattered that she was a woman. Period. I think that he would have said that to any woman that would have came out. I think, like, for one, she's not a big artist, So I felt like he was like, yo, what do you like? Why do you even have the right to speak to me, right? And then I think the fact that he just is used to women being around him that aren't as smart as him. Most women that fawn over him put him on a pedestal and say, oh, he's so smart, he's so deep. Oh, you know, he's so quiet, he's so reserved. Because typically a person that carries himself like Cole, you think is like a deeper person and is a more introspective, intellectual person. And he basically revealed like, yo, I'm just a nigga from North Carolina that like basketball and rapping.
I love that he said that.
Well, I mean, I think Ari Lennox kind of pointed that out because the moment.
Yeah, because she was supporting No Name too.
I feel like she trying to pull that out for a while, to be honest.
You
and no one said anything.
Okay, like let's like yo.
She posted up the picture and she put up a caption. I was just like, all right, the camp is a little shaky right now.
Yeah, I think it's trouble in paradise in Dreamville Paradise.
I believe so. I believe so. She might.
I mean, well, yeah, for sure, because Ari Lennox definitely she's on this plight where it's like, you know, she's constantly telling people that she doesn't feel appreciated. Like her music doesn't resonate with people, and award shows, and all of these, and you know, all these accolades that she's trying to achieve. But I don't think she should be complaining yet. It's just like, you know, you're an artist. You know,
she should be complaining. She should be complaining. She's a woman on one of the hottest labels, and underneath one of the hottest.
I mean, well. Listen, I'm talking about artists. I'm strictly talking about the music. I wasn't talking about, you know, the other issues.
So let's talk about the music then.
Wait.
We gotta wrap this up. So everybody, what they gotta say, so we can move forward.
All of the complaints that Eli was calling out, those are all out. Like that, I don't think has anything to do with her label. That has to do with everybody appreciating her from the outside. I don't think there's any problems per se. I just think Ari is a very opinionated person, and she speaks out when she's not happy. If there was any Dreamville issues, she would probably tell us already. Only thing she's told us that she had a problem with was her management, which didn't have anything to do with Dreamville. That's the only thing that we know about.
Not buying it. Because the way she advocated for No Name, and the way she spoke on it, and the way that she was on IG Live, and how she's been talking to a lot of other Black women and Black artists in the music industry about their voice being hard.
Live about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is Ari Lennox. Of course, she's going on IG Live. So I think that's more telling, and the devil is in the details. I think, to your point, yeah, if she's one of the hottest women. If she's one of the only women on one of the hottest labels out, then why was her album so underpromoted? Why does she not feel supported? Why does she feel like she's on an island by herself with her music?
Is it really one of the hottest labels out? Or does it have just like
he's a dream villain, bro? Let him rock.
I think it just has one of the hottest artists, period. But
I think it has I think it has one of the hottest artists, period, and
that's
he
a hot
runs
take.
it. And then it has one of the best girls in the game, which is Ari. That's it.
No, I don't think so.
And speaking as person, like I'm a Jid and Earth Gang fan, but let's be honest, the label they have that one.
Hottest.
They have Revenge of the Dreamers 3. That's their peak so far. You don't see them all together like that. It doesn't come off like a very tight-knit label. Not like TDE comes off.
Jid and Jid is not. Well, no, Jid is part of Dreamville.
Yes.
He is, right?
So I believe that No Name should not have said sorry for that.
Me neither.
Not have apologized. And that's what even
she
made
definitely did not need to apologize.
That's what made J. Cole look even worse, because now a Black woman has apologized for speaking her mind about a Black man.
But we always apologize for that. We are always defending y'all, no matter what. And I think that's what nobody else is talking about either. She felt that her song took away from what the bigger issue was. And she only mentioned him in 2 lines of the song anyway. So that goes to tell you that even him saying something told men that it was okay then to critique her. And that's also where the conversation went, when it shouldn't have been that. Like, whether you agreed or whoever side you were on, as fans, I think that we should have separated the music from the issue, right? So if you want to critique the songs, both songs were good. then do that. But then they began to critique her as a person, what she does. She's not popular as an artist. Then all about Chance defending her and, oh, why is he picking her side over J. Cole's when he never picked a side? He said, yo, this is wrong. That you are participating in a patriarchy that silences a bunch of Black women at a time that Black women were mourning the same very specific thing that he critiqued.
And on that note, I want to thank everyone for coming. I'm Torian B.
I'm First Class Reg.
And thank you for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.